All right, welcome everyone. This is Coach David with egelloC Financial Aid. We are here today to talk a little bit about the financial aid process, what it looks like, and then also talk a little bit about you applied, now what? Okay, so if you guys can go ahead and do me a favor, put your student's grade in the chat so that we can know who's here, like where we should kind of focus our energy, what types of topics work for our families that are showing up. Okay, so without further ado, we will get into things here. Okay, so today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about financial aid in a nutshell, and then we're also going to talk about you applied, now what, right? And I will be telling you about my special birthday offer. My birthday was actually last week. Happy birthday to me, right? 1 year older, one more time around the sun, right? And if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Coach David. I am your financial aid guru here. I also work with our families in our college coaching program, right? I used to be a law school and college admission reader, and I am a former lawyer turned into a college admissions machine. Okay, I'm ready to help your family save money, and so I hope you guys are ready to listen to the tips that I have. Okay, now. One of the things I always like to do in our kind of trainings is talk a little bit about financial aid and what has happened. Okay. Now, I'm not happy with the lighting in here because I just switched offices, right? But I will be working on the lighting situation. Okay. But I like to go over financial aid news, right? What's going on in the world of financial aid? Now, there isn't anything super new right now, right? There's no new changes, right? Everything has kind of already been explained over the last couple of weeks. There's delays, there's funding cuts, there's understaffing at the Department of Education that processes the FAFSA, right? So there's delays in processing, delays in people getting their questions answered, and colleges are also starting to see delays in getting the forms they need to give people their financial aid. Okay. Now, one of the things I have seen as far as kind of what's coming out in the news is that states are now kind of beefing up what they can do, right? Again, the states are rich too, right? They have money, right? So they are trying to strengthen their financial aid programs so that more students can go to college, right? Even with what is happening with the federal government, right? So that's obviously a positive thing. Okay. Now, what will happen? I'm not sure. I will keep you guys updated. Now, before we get into the training, one of the things that I always do like to kind of, tell people about is kind of like a quick message from our coaching team, right? One of the things that a lot of families kind of do a little bit too late, I feel like, is get someone to help them through this process. Okay. And the reason why I want people to kind of talk to our advisors is because college admissions is not just something that you work on during junior year, right? Depending on how your ninth grade goes, 10th grade goes, right? What kind of help you get and assistance you get through that process, right? Things really change for students. So I definitely want to make sure that you reach out to our team and talk to them if you guys need to, right? So there's a very easy way to do this. You can just text 949-775-0865. All right, just text them book, and then our kind of team will kind of like match you with an advisor so that you guys can discuss what your family needs, what you guys need help with, what needs to happen for your student. Okay. You can also use that QR code on the page there to go ahead and book it on your own as well. Okay. But our team is standing by to help. Okay. Now, let's go into kind of what we're going to talk about today, right? It's going to be fast and furious, right? So that I can get you guys as much information as possible. Okay. So, the first part of the financial aid process is the FAFSA, the free application for student aid. Okay. This is the first form that you will fill out, right? I call it the king of the forms, right? The reason is because if you don't turn this in, nothing else matters, right? Every college in the United States that you can think of will accept this form and will require it for financial aid. Okay. This is step one, right? The website you are going to is studentaid.gov. Okay. The second form that might be needed, right? And I put if required, is the CSS profile. The CSS profile is the demented evil brother of the FAFSA. There are 4 times or more than 4 times as many questions on the CSS as there are on the FAFSA. It asks you things about your retirement, investment, value of your home, your car, right? It asks you about your mortgage, right? How much equity you have. It also asks about how much you have in your savings account, in your checking account, in every type of account that you can think of. It is a deep dive into your financial life. Okay. Now, the website you go to for this is collegeboard.org. Now, you guys might be thinking, wait, College Board. I have heard that somewhere. College Board is also the place where you go to sign up for your AP exams and your SAT. So it is something that should be a little bit more familiar for students and families. Okay. The third, right, is called IDOC, right? It's the Institutional Documentation Service that that colleges use in order to get documents from you. Okay. Now, this is another system that is run by College Board. Okay. This is where you upload information related to your financial information, tax returns, W-2s, 1099s, different schedules, trust documents, all these different things, right? Not all colleges use this, just like how not all colleges use the CSS profile. But many colleges that use the CSS profile will use IDOC, so keep that in mind. In addition, there are additional forms. Okay, now, not all colleges do this, but a lot do, right? Some colleges ask you to fill something out on their applicant portal. Some schools ask you to send emails with PDF or attachments, right? And they ask you to fill out those forms and send them back or upload them into their system. Other schools have you upload things into IDOC, right? They are not all the same, right? So again, the additional forms is very school specific. So UC Berkeley might ask for one thing one way, UCLA might ask for another thing another way, right? But some of the more common things that they ask for are employment verification, termination verification if you got laid off, right? Dependent verification, how many people are part of your family, income verification, right? They might ask you to explain a certain circumstance that you had on one of your forms, right? And some even have you fill out other applications even after they had you fill out the FAFSA, the CSS, IDOC. A school like that is Princeton, right? Princeton has you fill out the FAFSA, CSS, IDOC. Then they have their own form that they have you fill out on their applicant portal. Okay, so keep that in mind there. Okay. Now, one of the things that I will tell you is that you do need to be vigilant about what needs to get turned in where at what time. Okay. So after you have applied, right, what should you be doing? Right? Well, realistically, you're literally waiting, right? That's all you're doing. You're waiting for your decisions to come out. You're waiting for your financial aid awards to come out. That is what you are doing right now. Okay. But in the meantime, as you are waiting, right, you need to be doing some things very, 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 very well, not that many varies, right? But you need to be checking things often, right? I cannot stress enough how much you need to be checking your applicant portals. You need to be checking at least one time a week, maybe two, right? The reason I say this is because a lot of families that are even part of our program, they send me these like email blasts or generalized emails that don't matter to a particular student. Okay. But in your applicant portal, in your to-do list, or in this or that, they will tell you exactly this is what I need from you, right? So you need to log on to your applicant portal, figure out exactly what they need, and then from there, you should be able to go ahead and get the information to them in an orderly fashion. Okay, so checking your applicant portals. Now, this might seem like, oh, it's like, okay, that's easy, no problem. But the problem is that students are applying to more and more colleges every single year, right? So if your student applied to 20 colleges, that means they need to be logging into 20 different school applicant portals each and every week. Okay. So parents, you can kind of help them with that, right? If possible. It really does help if you use the same login and password for all of them, but I know that some of them make you have like special passwords or special login IDs, right? But again, if you guys can keep like a spreadsheet of that, then it makes it easy for at least someone to be checking those things on a weekly basis. Okay. The next thing, right? And this is less important than your applicant portals, but you need to be checking your emails. There are some colleges that send out more specific emails like, hey, so and so, we see that we haven't received this exact thing. Can you please check on your applicant portal, right? But the one thing I will kind of caution you with here is you need to not just be checking your inbox, right? You need to be checking your all mail, your spam folder, the junk folder, the social folder, the update folder. You need to be checking everything. The reason why you need to be checking everything is because a lot of different school, like college emails, they get filtered into different areas. So we want to make sure that you are able to see what you need to see. Okay. Now, this is something that I talk about all the time, but there are too many rumors out there, right? And one of the rumor, like, or a bunch of the rumors that we have is like, oh, our family makes too much money. Our neighbors didn't get anything. We own a home, so we can't get money, right? The FAFSA is just for loans, right? The FAFSA is kind of like, it's gonna hurt me when I'm trying to apply to college. All these things are incorrect, right? What you do need to focus on is talking to us so that we can tell you what possibilities there are for your family. Okay. Now, as far as takeaways, and I told you today was going to be short and sweet, right? While you are waiting, you do have to stay vigilant, see if they're asking for other things, right? Now, if you're one of our families, don't worry about it. We're taking care of things. A lot of families are getting really antsy because they get a lot of emails, right? But trust me, there's a reason why we're waiting. There's a reason why we're doing things in the order that we do things, right? Now, for those that are doing it on your own, make sure that you're staying organized and that you figure out what needs to get done next. Okay. The faster you can get them the information, the quicker that they can get back to you. Now, again, like I said, for our families, we're doing it in a certain way for a certain reason. Okay. Now, I always ask families, ask for help, whether it's Facebook, Discord, email, right? Or even at the end of this call during Q&A. Please reach out to us because we want to make sure that we are able to help you. Even just this past, like, Monday and Tuesday, and then like last week, right? I've had a lot of 2026 families walk through the door and say, "Hey, I need help." And I'm like, "Okay, great. Did you touch anything? Did you submit anything?" It's like, yeah, we already submitted everything. And I'm like, how can I help you if you've already submitted everything? So even if you're a 2026 family, but you haven't done anything yet, please reach out. Our team is on standby to make sure that we can talk to you ASAP. Okay. But before you do anything, if you haven't done anything yet, don't rush in to kind of get things done. Let's have a conversation. Doesn't matter if you turn it in today or tomorrow. Okay. Now, as far as results, we always love sharing our results. Okay. So, we have families that make over $300,000. We're able to get them, 30, almost $40,000 a year, right? This family made over $400,000 and we got them $42,000 a year at Baylor. And this family, right, just over $230,000, we were able to get them $32,000 from UC Davis. Okay. So, I am going to kind of have this phone number here, right? This phone number here is for you guys, right? So 650-860-5201. That is our phone number. My team is standing by so that they can kind of figure out who needs help right now, who needs help next week, right? They can help you get on my schedule, okay? That is going to be the fastest way. If you use that QR code, you're not going to see any times available until January, okay? Because I've blocked off a lot of my schedule because I need to be working on financial aid. I need to be talking to families right now. So if you are interested in talking to us, please text 650-860-5201. You can text money, and then my support team will kind of figure out what times work for you, and then match it up with my schedule. Okay. All right. Now, the kind of like last piece of the puzzle. Okay. I told you I'm doing something crazy for my birthday, right? And this is the discount that I had. Now, last week for my birthday, I had 10 of these programs left. I've already had 6 people sign up with this bonus. But here is what the kind of discount is, right? Now, our program runs on a kind of like first year fee, like service fee, right? And then we have a renewal fee each and every year during the other 3 years of college, okay? But just because it was my birthday last week, what I'm going to do is that for the next 4 families that sign up, you only pay for your first year. The rest of them, the rest of the renewals, they're on me. Okay. So if you do sign up and you're one of the next 4 to sign up, right, you'll only pay for your first spot. The rest of the years are on me. Okay. All right. So again, it's not even first 10 anymore. It's only 6 now, right? Or actually only 4, right? Because we already had 6 families sign up. Okay. All right. Now, again, if you need to talk to us, please contact us at 650-860-5201, right? And text us money, okay? But if you guys do have questions, please let me know, right, in the chat or in the Q&A, and we will make sure to get to them, right? Today, it's a little bit shorter, right? Because I wanted to kind of, well, I wanted to get back to doing the financial aid things I need to do for families. But next week and the weeks that are coming up, we'll try to have a more in-depth conversation about kind of different assets. We will, at this point, I think it doesn't make sense to do kind of like a FAFSA thing, but maybe we can talk about juniors that are kind of like coming up and what are some things that you can do before the end of the year. Okay. All right, so I'll wait around for some questions, right? If you guys have any. All right, we have a question in the Q&A, and it says, is there an income level for getting financial aid? There is no exact cutoff, right? So it depends on your situation, right? Your income might be really high, but it might all be stocks that you can't sell, right? Well, then, it just depends, right? So that's why we say like, hey, let's have a short consultation, right? It is, 15, 20 minutes long, right? I'll ask you the questions that I need to know about, right? I'll ask about income, I'll ask about different assets, I'll ask about how your compensation structure is, all these different things to make sure that we have a better picture. Then I can give you a better assessment of how much money your family can save. Okay. All right. Thank you for that question. Okay. So I don't see any other questions. So we'll go ahead and close it down for tonight. I am kind of, ripping and roaring to try to get back to the financial aid so I can help families out. If you have any other questions, please let us know and we'll talk to you again soon, okay? All right, everyone have a great night. Bye-bye.